When we speak about the hardships of life, it's easy to immediately assume that difficulty is a punishment. When pain comes, be it in the form of loss, failure, illness, or disappointment, our first instinct is to question, why me? What have I done to deserve this? And yet, if we take a step back and examine the wisdom of our Creator, we begin to see a deeper, more profound reality. The trials you face are often a manifestation of Allah's love for you. It may seem paradoxical at first. That love can be accompanied by pain, but this is precisely the beauty of divine wisdom. Love is not always comfort, love is growth. Love is transformation, and growth is rarely easy. Consider the way a parent guides a child. A parent doesn't shield their child from every difficulty. They don't prevent every scrape, every fall, every moment of discomfort. Why? Because the child needs to learn to strengthen their muscles, to develop resilience, to understand the consequences of their choices. The parent's love is expressed not through avoidance of hardship, but through thoughtful exposure to it in measured amounts that lead to growth. Allah's wisdom is infinitely greater and His love infinitely deeper. He allows hardship into your life not to harm you, but to shape you, refine you, and elevate you beyond what you might have thought possible. Psychologically speaking, human beings grow through challenge. Comfort may feel good, but it often breeds stagnation. It lulls the mind into complacency and the heart into forgetfulness. Struggle, on the other hand, demands reflection, effort, and perseverance. When you face a difficulty and confront it with patience and faith, you are engaging in a process of transformation. Your character is being strengthened, your perspective expanded, and your capacity for empathy heightened. This is why Allah reminds us repeatedly in the Quran that those who are tested and endure are beloved to Him. It is in these moments of trial that divine love is most present, even if it is unseen. Philosophically, hardship forces us to confront the transient nature of this world. It challenges our attachment to fleeting comforts and reminds us of the eternal realities. When life becomes difficult, when doors close and plans falter, you are being drawn closer to Allah, not away from Him. The struggles you experience serve as mirrors, reflecting the areas of your heart that need cleansing, the parts of your character that require refinement. Every trial is an opportunity to return to Allah with sincerity, humility, and awareness. In fact, if life were devoid of challenge, we might never recognize our dependence on Allah, and the depth of divine love might remain a concept rather than a lived experience. It is vital to shift our mindset. Rather than viewing hardship as punishment, we must start seeing it as a gift of love disguised in difficulty. The sharper the test, often the greater the love. The Prophet Muhammad himself reminded us that no fatigue, nor disease, nor sorrow, nor sadness, nor hurt, nor distress befalls a Muslim, even if it were the prick he receives from a thorn, but that Allah expiates some of his sins for that. Every hardship is not meaningless. It is a divine investment in your soul, an elevation in rank, and a purification of the heart. So when you encounter difficulty, pause and reflect. Don't immediately resist or resent it. Ask yourself, could this trial be Allah's way of drawing me closer, of shaping me, of expressing His love in a way my heart cannot yet fully comprehend? Let that question guide your response. Let patience, trust, and reflection transform your pain into an instrument of growth. Remember this, the journey is hard because Allah loves you. The trials are heavy because your heart is precious. The difficulty is not the absence of care, it is the presence of divine love, active and intentional, molding you into the person you are meant to become. And if you embrace this reality, hardship will no longer be a burden to bear, but a gift to receive. When we think about growth, we often imagine it as something smooth, almost effortless, a straight path from point A to point B. But reality is far different. True growth, whether spiritual, emotional, or intellectual, rarely occurs in comfort. Growth requires struggle, and struggle requires discomfort. This is an essential truth that is often overlooked in a world obsessed with ease and convenience. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, has designed life in such a way that growth is inseparable from challenge. The difficulties you face are not obstacles to your progress. They are the instruments of your development. Imagine a seed buried deep in the soil. For it to reach the sunlight, it must push against the weight of the earth, navigate obstacles in the soil, and break through its protective shell. This process is not painless. The seed is under pressure, constrained and challenged, but without that struggle, it would never emerge as a tree, as a flower, as a source of life. The same principle applies to human beings. Your challenges, your setbacks, your moments of doubt, they are all the soil and pressure that allow your potential to break through into reality. Without struggle, the best version of yourself may never surface. Psychologically, this aligns with what we understand about human resilience. When you confront difficulty, you are forced to engage with your own limitations, to stretch your capacities, and to discover strengths you didn't know you had. Adversity activates qualities within you: patience, courage, perseverance, and creativity that lie dormant in times of ease. Life's trials demand that you respond, and in responding, you are trained, refined, and strengthened. It is precisely in these moments of challenge that transformation occurs. Comfort, on the other hand, tends to breed complacency. It allows the mind to remain static and the heart to settle. True growth requires pressure, and pressure, by its very nature, is often uncomfortable. Spiritually, there is a profound wisdom in this. Allah does not simply want us to exist in a state of superficial ease. He wants us to become spiritually alive, to awaken to our purpose, to cultivate character, and to refine our souls. Growth comes when we face what we would rather avoid. When life challenges you, it is giving you the opportunity to transcend yourself, to rise above your base instincts, to anchor your trust in Allah, and to refine your inner world. Every struggle, every hardship, every moment of doubt becomes a stepping stone on the path to spiritual elevation. Philosophically, consider the contrast between those who have lived a life of ease and those who have endured trials. The former may possess comfort, but the latter carries depth. Struggle brings wisdom, humility, and empathy. It teaches us not only about the world, but about ourselves. It forces introspection and fosters a connection to Allah that is often absent in moments of unchallenged comfort. In essence, struggle is the teacher that pushes us toward the highest version of ourselves. And so when you encounter difficulty, recognize it as a sign of potential. Growth is happening even if it is not immediately visible. Your discomfort is not wasted. It is molding you, shaping you, and preparing you for the life you are meant to live. The moments that feel unbearable today may become the very moments that define your strength tomorrow. Embrace them with awareness, patience, and faith. Understand this deep lie: your growth is forged in the fire of struggle. Life challenges you because Allah sees your potential, and He loves the version of you that you have yet to become. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remember that every hardship is a call to rise, to stretch, and to transform. Growth does not occur in the absence of difficulty. It is born through it. And if you embrace this truth, every challenge will become a classroom, every trial a teacher, and every struggle a step toward the person Allah intended you to be. Patience. Sabr is one of the most profound qualities a person can cultivate, yet it is also one of the most challenging. When life tests you, when hardships come in waves, and when everything feels uncertain, the natural inclination of the human heart is to resist, to complain, or to seek an immediate solution. But this very resistance is what prevents growth and keeps the soul from realizing its full potential. Patience is not passive endurance. It is an active, conscious choice to maintain trust in Allah while navigating difficulty. It is the bridge between hardship and reward, between struggle and transformation. Psychologically, patience transforms suffering into a process of self-mastery. When you pause, breathe, and confront difficulty without succumbing to frustration, your mind learns to respond rather than react. Your heart learns to rely on something greater than immediate circumstances. This is why the Quran emphasizes patience repeatedly, linking it directly to divine reward and spiritual elevation. When a believer endures with patience, the trials themselves become a vehicle for inner growth. Each moment of restraint, each choice to hold fast to faith, is a silent victory that shapes character in ways comfort never could. Consider the human tendency to seek control. We often want life to unfold according to our timing, our plans, and our expectations. Yet the truth is, life rarely conforms to our designs. Challenges arrive, often without warning, and they disrupt the rhythm we thought we controlled. Patience teaches us to surrender, not in defeat, but in wisdom, to surrender to Allah's timing, to recognize that His knowledge is infinite, and that His love manifests even through what feels like chaos. This is not about passivity. It is about aligning our will with the divine will, allowing ourselves to be guided through hardship with clarity and grace. Spiritually, patience is transformative because it connects us directly to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Indeed, with every hardship comes ease." This is not a vague promise. It is a principle woven into the fabric of existence. Patience allows us to witness this principle in our lives. When we endure with faith, the difficulty begins to reveal its purpose. What first seemed like suffering transforms into a lesson, a source of wisdom, a moment of divine mercy. The act of patience itself becomes an act of worship, a way to draw closer to Allah, and a testament to our recognition that His plan surpasses our understanding. Philosophically, patience teaches perspective. It reminds us that the trials we face are temporary and that every difficulty is an opportunity to rise above the limitations of our immediate desires. It allows us to step back, to reflect, and to see beyond the immediate pain to the broader landscape of life. Hardship is not meaningless, but its meaning often becomes clear only to those who endure with patience, those who resist the urge to react impulsively, and who instead hold on to faith with courage and conviction. Moreover, patience nurtures hope. It is the quiet confidence that Allah's wisdom is always present, that no struggle is in vain, and that the effort we make in this life has eternal significance. It transforms despair into resilience, anxiety into trust, and fear into courage. Each moment of patience is a step forward, a silent victory that accumulates over time and prepares the believer for both worldly and eternal success. So when hardship strikes, let patience be your guiding principle. Choose to endure with awareness, to trust in Allah's plan, and to see the trials not as obstacles, but as opportunities. Every act of patience is a testament to the depth of your faith and the recognition that Allah's love is present even in difficulty. Understand this deeply. Patience is not merely waiting. It is an active, transformative engagement with life's challenges. And it is through this engagement that the believer grows, evolves, and becomes beloved to Allah. Remember this, your patience is not weakness, it is strength. Your endurance is not passive, it is power. And in that power lies the proof of Allah's love, the evidence that every trial is an opportunity, and the pathway to the reward that awaits those who remain steadfast. One of the most profound effects of hardship is the way it shapes our empathy and perspective. When life is easy, it is very easy to live in a bubble, to move through the world without truly understanding the struggles of others. Comfort can blind us to suffering and detach us from the realities that so many people face every day. But when you endure difficulty yourself, something remarkable happens, your heart opens, your mind broadens, and your understanding of human experience deepens. Hardship doesn't just teach you about yourself, it teaches you about others. Psychologically, this makes perfect sense. Human beings are wired to connect through shared experiences. Pain, struggle, and challenge are universal languages. When you have faced loss, betrayal, or disappointment, you develop an intuitive sense of compassion. You can recognize pain in others because you have felt it yourself. You can listen more deeply, support more sincerely, and act with greater kindness. This is why the Prophet Muhammad said that hardship is a means of purification, not only for the soul itself, but for the way we engage with the world. Suffering molds empathy, and empathy shapes character. Consider for a moment the individuals we most respect in history, not just spiritual leaders, but anyone who has made a lasting impact. What do they share in common? Almost invariably, they have endured challenges that transformed them. They have faced adversity that opened their eyes to the needs, struggles, and vulnerabilities of others. Trials teach humility. They remind us that life is fleeting, that we are not entirely in control, and that our suffering is part of a larger human tapestry. The experience of difficulty nurtures a sensitivity to others that comfort can never create. Spiritually, hardship also has a profound role in shaping our moral and ethical awareness. It forces us to reflect what truly matters in life. How should I respond when confronted with injustice, suffering, or misfortune, not only in my life, but in the lives of others? The trials you face are training for your heart. They cultivate patience, humility, and understanding, which then extend outward into the way you treat other people. Allah does not only want you to endure for your own sake, He wants you to develop the capacity to act with wisdom, mercy, and justice in the broader world. Hardship strengthens your ability to respond to the suffering of others in a way that is compassionate and constructive. Philosophically, we might say that suffering serves as a mirror. It reflects the depth of your character and illuminates the areas of your heart that require attention. The more challenges you face, the more nuanced your understanding of life becomes. You start to see beyond black and white judgments, beyond surface appearances, and into the complexity of human experience. You begin to recognize that everyone carries unseen burdens, that life is rarely as simple as it seems, and that patience and compassion are not optional virtues. They are essential. This perspective is transformative. It turns hardship from something to endure into something to learn from. It converts pain into a teacher, trials into opportunities, and personal suffering into a source of wisdom that can benefit others. Every moment of difficulty, when met with awareness and reflection, can expand your capacity for empathy, deepen your spiritual insight, and refine your character in ways that no other experience can. So the next time life challenges you, don't see it only as a burden. Recognize it as an opportunity to grow not just for yourself, but for the world around you. Let your struggles cultivate empathy. Let your patience inform your compassion, and let your experiences of difficulty refine the way you engage with others. Remember that Allah does not test you only for your sake. He also prepares you to act as a source of light and understanding for others. Understand this deeply. Hardship widens your heart, enriches your soul, and connects you to humanity. Your suffering is never wasted, because through it, you gain the capacity to love, to support, and to empathize in a way that only those who endure can. Let this awareness guide your response to life, transforming your trials into a force for both personal growth and positive impact in the world. One of the most profound purposes of hardship is its ability to remind us of the true purpose of life. In the rush of daily existence, it is all too easy to become distracted by fleeting comforts, temporary successes, and the endless pursuit of material satisfaction. We begin to measure life by convenience rather than meaning, by pleasure rather than purpose. Yet, when difficulty enters our lives, it has a way of interrupting this superficial rhythm. Pain, loss, and struggle force us to pause and reflect. They compel us to ask the questions that comfort would never prompt. Why am I here? What is the significance of my effort? What truly matters to my heart and my soul? Psychologically, hardship functions as a kind of mirror. It reflects back to us the areas where we have been complacent, where we have neglected the deeper aspects of our existence. Discomfort triggers reflection, and reflection triggers awareness. When life is easy, it is tempting to assume that we are in control, that the world revolves around our plans and desires. But when life challenges us, we are confronted with the limits of our control, the fragility of our assumptions, and the fleeting nature of worldly stability. In this confrontation lies an opportunity to redirect our focus, realign our priorities, and recognize the deeper purpose for which we were created. Spiritually, this is precisely why Allah allows trials into our lives. Hardship is a reminder that our journey is not about mere survival, comfort, or accumulation of worldly gains. It is about the development of the soul, the refinement of character, and the cultivation of a meaningful relationship with Allah. In the Quran, Allah repeatedly reminds us that this world is temporary, and that our efforts and choices in it carry eternal consequences. When difficulty enters your life, it is as if the divine is gently shaking you awake, saying, "Do not forget why you are here. Do not be distracted by what will pass away. Turn your heart toward me, for in me lies purpose, guidance, and fulfillment." Philosophically, hardship shifts perspective in a way comfort never can. In moments of ease, we can easily forget that life is finite, that every moment is a gift, and that each action carries weight. Struggle, by contrast, forces us to confront mortality, uncertainty, and the fragility of our plans. It invites us to see beyond the immediate moment and connect with the eternal. The pain, the disappointment, the setbacks, they are not meaningless interruptions. They are signposts pointing us toward reflection, self-examination, and a higher purpose. Every difficulty becomes an opportunity to recalibrate our lives and to ask ourselves, am I living with intention? Am I aligning my actions with what truly matters? There is also a psychological benefit in recognizing purpose through hardship. When we see trials as reminders rather than punishments, we gain resilience and motivation. Our struggles acquire meaning, and our efforts gain clarity. The challenges themselves become part of a larger narrative, one in which every hardship is a chapter that teaches, refines, and guides. Life becomes not a series of random obstacles, but a purposeful journey where every setback can carry insight, and every challenge can illuminate the path forward. So when difficulty arrives, do not merely endure it, reflect on it. Ask what it is teaching you, what it is redirecting you away from, and what it is drawing you toward. Let the struggles awaken your heart to the truth that life is a test, that every moment is significant, and that your journey is meant to cultivate a wisdom, character, and closeness to Allah. Remember this clearly. Hardship is not a deviation from your purpose. It is a reminder of it. It is life's way of nudging you to look beyond the superficial, to seek the eternal, and to embrace a path of intentionality and faith. The challenges you face are not merely obstacles. They are invitations to awaken, to grow, and to live a life of meaning. In this understanding lies both comfort and power, for it transforms suffering from a burden into a teacher, from a trial into a guide, and from a moment of despair into a doorway to purpose. Ultimately, the trials we face are not meaningless, and the difficulties we endure are not random. Every struggle carries a hidden blessing, every moment of pain a concealed wisdom, in every challenge a pathway to a deeper connection with Allah. This is the essence of trust, tawakkul, in the divine plan. To trust Allah in the midst of hardship is not a passive resignation. It is an active choice to see the unseen, to recognize that the limitations of our perception do not bind the infinite wisdom of our Creator. When we trust, we transform hardship into an opportunity for spiritual insight, emotional growth, and profound resilience. Psychologically, this trust reshapes how we experience life. When you believe that your challenges are not meaningless, but purposeful, your mindset shifts from despair to engagement. You begin to look for lessons in adversity rather than reasons for complaint. You start to see obstacles as tools for refinement rather than as punishments for failure. The human heart is naturally inclined to seek meaning, and hardship, when approached with trust, provides exactly that. It calls us to pause, to reflect, and to understand that while we may not control the circumstances, we do control how we respond. And it is in that response, guided by faith, that our true strength emerges. Spiritually, trusting Allah allows you to move through life with peace. Even in uncertainty, life is inherently unpredictable, and the moment we assume that everything will always go according to our desires, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Trials are inevitable, but trust transforms them. When we accept that Allah's plan is perfect, even when we cannot see the reason for our suffering, we align ourselves with a greater wisdom. This alignment does not remove hardship, but it changes our experience of it. Pain becomes a teacher, struggle becomes a guide, and difficulty becomes an instrument of divine love. Philosophically, this trust is a reminder that the human experience is inherently limited, while the divine perspective is infinite. We live in a world of immediate perception, seeing only what is in front of us, understanding only what is within our limited cognition. Allah, however, sees the entirety of existence, the past, the present, and the future simultaneously. Every challenge we encounter fits into a tapestry that is far more intricate and purposeful than we can comprehend. Trust, then, is the act of surrendering our limited vision while remaining active in faith and effort. It is the recognition that what we perceive as suffering may, in truth, be the source of profound blessing. Consider for a moment how many of the greatest transformations in history emerged from moments of intense difficulty. The person who has endured hardship with trust and patience often develops qualities that comfort alone cannot produce: resilience, clarity, empathy, and spiritual depth. Trust allows us to see beyond immediate discomfort to the long-term cultivation of character. It allows us to recognize that what we endure today is not wasted. It is being woven into the fabric of our personal growth and divine favor. So when life feels unbearable, when the weight of struggle presses upon your chest, remember that trust in Allah transforms hardship into blessing. Every difficulty carries a hidden mercy, every test carries a purpose, and every challenge is a stepping stone towards something greater than we can yet see. Let your trust guide your response. Let your faith shape your perception, and let your awareness transform your suffering into a source of growth and blessing. Remember this deeply. Hardship is not a sign of Allah's distance. It is a sign of His presence. Difficulty is not evidence of neglect. It is evidence of care. The path may be challenging, but it is purposeful. Your struggle is not meaningless. It is a message of love, a call to growth, and a preparation for the blessings that await. Embrace trust, and you will find that hardship, rather than breaking you, is molding you into the person Allah loves you to be.